Welcome to another instructional video from Valley Android TV. Today we're going to go over the new gaming system. I've decided to upgrade the gaming boxes to the TX9 Pro, which comes with 3 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of flash, and an octa-core processor, and logic, of course. These boxes run a lot smoother than the older models, and that's why the price increased a little bit, and you'll see why once I start getting into it. So down at the bottom, of course, you've got your TV apps as always. You got your Mojo, your Showbox, and Terrarium, and that's what you'd be using for TV. So for gaming, what you're going to do is you're going to go to TX TV Center. When it loads up, you have access to Sega 32X, Atari, all the Atari systems, Dreamcast, Sega Game Gear, Advance, Game Boy Color, Sega Genesis, MAME Arcade, MS-DOS, Nintendo 64, Nintendo, PlayStation, Real 3DO, Sega CD, Sega Master System, Super Nintendo. The list goes on and on and on these gaming systems. So the number one thing you want to do when you are choosing a game that you want to play is make sure your controller is turned on. Just hit that red button in the middle. Then choose your system. Once you choose your system, it's going to download the gaming list. Depending on how fast your internet is, this can take a minute or two, as there are over, just I chose Sega Genesis, so out of Sega Genesis, there's over, I think, 1,100 games to choose from. Just give it a moment. So one thing to keep in mind, while we're waiting for this to load, I'll mention it. The reason why it has 32 gigs of flash is because it keeps a 20 gig cache. Once you've downloaded a bunch of games, your favorites, onto the system, you don't need to go through this slow process anymore of bringing up the games and downloading them. I'll show you how to do a faster way at the end of the video. That'll make it a lot easier for you. So you get a 20 gig cache, which can store thousands of games by itself. If you're dealing with PlayStation 1 games a lot, then that list will be a little bit smaller because each PlayStation game is about 500 megs itself. So that didn't take too long, actually. It only took about 30 seconds to load. So you just go through and choose your game. As you can see, it's got all the different games that Sega Genesis had to offer. Just want to give you an idea. And I'm going to go for Golden Axe because I haven't played Golden Axe in forever. So you just hit OK, and then it downloads the game. Again, make sure your gaming controller is on, otherwise you won't get the gaming controller to function while you're in. But you have to choose the keypad to choose the game. Okay, the gaming controller doesn't work in here. It only works once you get into the game itself. It's downloading the game right now, which is why it's taking a moment. And like I said, once you fill up the cache, this no longer takes this amount of time. You can load up the cache within, or you can just go play it directly from the cache, which I'll show you how to do in a moment. And keep in mind, this is a brand new box that just got programmed, so it's downloading all these pictures and everything all at the same time while trying to download this game. So, I mean, that's why it's a little bit slower than normal. once you started using the box for a while, it starts to speed up because it starts loading all this stuff into the cache, right? All the pictures and everything. There we go. It'll be just a few moments now. And we are playing the game. So that wasn't too bad. It only took about a minute to download the game. And here we are playing the game. So again, you are using one of these controllers. So you just choose your mode, right? Choose your character. And away you go. You are playing... Oh, come on. Come on. Oh, it's been so long. There we go. And... Come on. As you can see, there's no lag or anything going on. It's very responsive. I just, am not the greatest gamer in the world. So now, I'm done playing and I want to leave. What I do is I hold down Start and Select at the same time, and it brings up this little menu. Choose the Quick menu. Go to Save State, and it'll save right where I'm at. Now, it'll do that for every single one of the games that you've got out there. So if you're playing a PlayStation 1 game or Super Nintendo or N64, games that have memory cards, and you just go save it within the game, like Final Fantasy, for instance, it's not going to save. Okay? You have to do Start Select at the same time, Save State. Okay? Now, if I want to switch to another game, I need to make sure to close out of this game completely. So what you do for that is go right down here to quit RetroArch. If you don't quit RetroArch, then what's going to end up happening is when you go launch another game, you're just going to end up right back in the same spot where you were at in RetroArch the last time. So I'm going to quit RetroArch right now. It brings us back to here. Then I'm going to go back to my home screen. And RetroArch is this little app right here that looks like a little alien dude. So I'm going to launch RetroArch now that I've downloaded that game. I'm going to go to Load Recent, and there's a few games that have already been downloaded onto this system. So we'll start off with Super Mario Bros. World. As you can see, this is where I left off on Super Mario Bros. World. Again, Start Select to bring this up. We can just go close content this time, not close RetroArch, and it'll just close me out of that game. And then I can go back, and we'll launch GoldenEye. Oh yeah, that's right, GoldenEye. All right, I'm going to stop being a nerd now. Hit Start Select at the same time, close content, and just to show you, go back to GoldenEye, which is what we were in earlier. Or sorry, not GoldenEye, that's not what I wanted to show. Close content, Golden Axe. Run, and I'm right back where I left off. And I'm dead. All right. So Start Select to close content again and bring up this menu. Okay. If you want to restart the game, you can do it right there. If you want to resume, you just go resume. Close content closes the game you're in right there. Save state, load state. You can mess around with controller settings and stuff if you want. I don't recommend it. There is a cheat section. So if you remember the old, what were they called? Game Genie? Game Genie codes. Yeah. Just go into cheats. You can load cheat passcodes. I don't have any on hand right now, so I can't show you how to enter them, but I mean, it's pretty easy. And other than that, I wouldn't mess around with too much else in here because everything's already configured for you. You can, so we'll just quit RetroArch and then we're out of the game. So this is our new gaming system. As you can see, it runs really smoothly. It runs the N64 games, it runs the NES games, PlayStation 1 games. The one that I've got for myself, I'm actually running, I'm playing Legends of the Dragoon right now and Final Fantasy VII. So, yeah, if you're interested in picking up one of these, just let me know. Thank you again for choosing Valley Android TV.